You cannot go get a lot of money. Well, most people, if they have $8,000 available on a credit card, that's quite a bit. And if they do have one or two credit cards, maybe that's what they have as their safety net. They're not going to go use that and be stupid and crazy like I was.
Welcome into the Future in Flight podcast, coming to you from a hangar somewhere near the flight line, where there's a great place for an apple cider donut and cup of coffee right outside the fence. I'm your host, Shawn Staerker, and today we're going full throttle with an incredible lineup. First up, meet Brandon Martini, COO of Stratus Financial, a guy who maxed out his credit cards chasing his pilot dreams and turned that struggle into a lifeline for nearly 1,000 other aspiring aviators. His grandfather's dusty logbook sparked a journey that would revolutionize how future pilots pay for flight training. Then, we're diving into the Aeroverse, the streaming service that's bringing warbirds, space missions, and everything aviation into one incredible digital hangar. Think Netflix, but for people with their heads in the clouds. And finally, we're heading into the drone zone to explore drone soccer. Yes, you heard that right, where high schoolers are building, flying, and competing with drones while learning the exact skills aerospace companies are desperately hiring for. So strap in, we're clear for takeoff. Now, we've got a story that proves something really important. Sometimes the biggest obstacles in aviation aren't about learning to fly. They're about figuring out how to pay for it. COO of Stratus Financial, Brandon Martini's journey was just that. Brandon's not your typical aviation finance guy. Actually, he never planned to be a finance guy at all. His adventure started the way a lot of pilot dreams do, with a family story and a dusty logbook. It's 2010. Brandon's grandfather had just passed away, and while going through his belongings, Brandon discovers something powerful: his grandfather's old pilot logbook. Listen to how he describes what happened next.
After I found that logbook of his, after he passed away, I was like, you know what, I should go look into this. And I found out there's a local place near me that did flight training. So I told all my friends and family one Christmas in December 2013, hey, I want gift certificates to go learn how to fly. And I ended up getting like $2,500 gifts worth of gift certificates from friends, from family, from everybody I knew.
Now, if you're thinking, hey, that's awesome, problem solved. Well, not quite. That $2,500, it covered about a quarter of his training costs. So Brandon did what a lot of people do when they're chasing a dream. He maxed out his credit cards. New baby at home, about to buy his first house, working as an auto insurance adjuster. But he had this fire inside him that wouldn't quit.
I would wake up in the morning, and I remember I would be laying in bed, and I used to have blinds right behind my bed. And I would literally have a flight that morning, and I would open the blinds to make sure there's no clouds in the air. And it was a really special experience.
That obsession paid off. Brandon earned his private pilot certificate in just 41 and a half hours, barely above the FAA minimum of 40. He was actually upset he didn't hit exactly 40. Fast forward a bit, Brandon opens a flight school, starting with literally one airplane and renting a closet for $96 a month at Riverside Airport. But Brandon kept seeing the same problem over and over. Talented people walking through his door with big aviation dreams and zero idea how to pay for flight training.
I figured people would figure out how to get money and figure out how to learn to fly just like I did. And that was not as easy as I thought it would be. And I don't come from a ton of money, so it wasn't easy for me, right? But it definitely was doable. So I just figured everybody will figure it out. Well, what I realized is when I had new students, they would all complain about the money.
So Brandon started making calls. Chase Bank? Nope. Wells Fargo? Not interested. He even called the company that finances mattresses and asked if they'd finance his flight students. Door after door slammed shut. Brandon had a friend named Anthony Geraci who specialized in private finance law. He asked him to help write some loan contracts. Anthony came back a few weeks later with something completely different, drawn out on Brandon's office whiteboard.
He draws out this plan for Stratus Financial on my whiteboard, and I have the picture somewhere, and I've been looking for it. It's got to be in an old phone somewhere. And he draws out this Stratus Financial plan, and I get really excited. I said, that sounds fantastic, Anthony. It sounds like we need about $1 million to get this thing off the ground. And luckily he said, well, I got that covered in one way or another. We'll figure it out.
Six months later, they made their first loan. Today, Stratus Financial has helped about 1,000 pilots get their wings and works with over 400 flight schools across North America. My podcast partner, Jacob Pete, who's the editor-in-chief of Aviation magazine, asked Brandon what sets Stratus apart from traditional lenders.
What makes Stratus Financial different from traditional lenders or even to aviation financing programs? What's that major difference?
You cannot go get a lot of money. Well, most people, if they have $8,000 available on a credit card, that's quite a bit. And if they do have one or two credit cards, maybe that's what they have as their safety net. They're not going to go use that and be stupid and crazy like I was. So we used to say the biggest competitor to us is the credit card. If you go to a community bank or you go to Chase or you go to Wells Fargo and you say, hey, I want a personal loan, they're going to laugh at you.
But Stratus isn't just about money. They scrape the FAA database every week to track when their borrowers earn new certificates, then automatically send congratulation cards. They offer free test prep, free ground school. They even partner with Lightspeed Aviation so students can bundle headsets right into their loans. And Brandon built an 86-page underwriting manual for flight schools. If a school tries to take advantage of students, they get kicked out of the program. No second chances.
We send birthday cards and congratulations every time they get a pilot certificate. We scrub the FAA database all the time to find out when they're progressing through programs, so we automatically know when it happens. We send them cards and notes and congratulations, and we want them to know, hey, we're monitoring your progress because we care about it, and we want to make sure that you succeed.
So what's the bigger picture here? Jacob asked Brandon about the industry's future.
Boeing's forecasting 660,000 new pilots globally, right, by 2044. What's your take on that number or the numbers that the industry has supplied up to this point?
So I look at trend lines and see where aviation is going, and it is going up in more ways than one. And the pun is always intended when it has to do with flying. There's some key people out there like Kit Darby, who's been putting out a lot of data and that really pushes and shows us how much the airlines are hiring today. They're hiring more than they ever hired before when you look at historical norms. So there is a pilot shortage still today.
But it's not just airline jobs. We're talking business aviation, charter operations, flight instruction, corporate flying, opportunities everywhere. Brandon even became a flight instructor himself, and his very first student, his son, who started learning at just 10 years old.
After I got my flight instructor certificate, my son ended up being my first student, even at whatever he was, 10 years old or whatever. I made sure that he was my first student, and that was really important to me.
Congratulations, Brandon Martini.
Brandon's work recently earned him a spot on the NBAA's 40 Under 40 list, one of the most prestigious awards in business aviation.
I did not think I would win it for this year. I've seen some of the people that have passed or won it in the past years, and I was just really, really impressed by a lot of these people. So to be in that kind of pedigree was pretty impactful for me.
Here's what I love about Brandon's story. He didn't wait for someone else to solve the problem. He didn't complain the system was broken. He built a better system. And now, about 1,000 pilots are in the sky because of it. So if you're out there thinking aviation is too expensive or that your dream of flying is impossible, I want you to remember Brandon maxing out credit cards with a new baby at home, opening blinds at dawn to check for clouds, and refusing to let anyone tell him it couldn't be done. Your path might look different than his, but the lesson is the same. Barriers are only permanent if you let them be. Up next, we take a trip into the Aeroverse, the hottest streaming service playing all your favorite aviation-themed content. Aviation is the leading youth aviation magazine, here to attract, educate, and empower the next generation of aviators. Inside every issue, you'll discover the future of flight through the stories of students, programs, and innovators shaping the skies. And with Aviation's Rising Star program, we're recognizing students with a passion for aviation, celebrating their journey, connecting them with industry sponsors, and fueling their dreams. Got your own aviation story? Aviation would love to hear from you. Check out the website at aviationusa.com. Welcome back. You know, we live in this incredible moment where you can learn to fly a plane on YouTube, watch a rocket launch on TikTok, and scroll through aviation history on Instagram. But here's the thing. All that content, it's scattered everywhere, buried between cat videos and dance challenges. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But what if someone actually gathered all the best aviation content in one place? Like actually curated it. Well, buckle up, because that's exactly what happened. December 17th, 2023. You might not remember that date, but in the aviation world, it was kind of a big deal. No, not just because it was the 120th anniversary of the Wright brothers' first flight at Kitty Hawk, though that's pretty cool, but because a guy named Charles Cook stood in his hangar in Texas and launched something called Aeroverse. Now, Cook's not just some tech bro with a streaming idea. This guy owns his own private airport, Flying Oaks, just outside Fort Worth, and he looked around the aviation community and saw something missing. A home. A digital hangar where all the pilots, the dreamers, the history nerds, and people like us who just think planes are awesome could hang out. Picture this. You're into World War II history. Maybe you've seen clips of Spitfires and B-17s, but you want the whole story. Or maybe you're thinking about actually learning to fly, but flight school feels expensive and intimidating. Or here's a fun one. Maybe you just want to watch somebody try to start an airplane that's been rotting in a field for 20 years. Yeah, that's a real show. It's called Jimmy's World, Will It Start? And it's exactly what it sounds like. See, that's the beauty of Aeroverse. It's not just one thing. It's not only for pilots, and it's not only for history buffs. It's for anyone who's ever looked up at a plane and thought, how does that even work? Or, I wonder what it's like up there. So let me break down what's actually on this thing, because the catalog is kind of wild. First, you've got the originals, shows made specifically for Aeroverse. There's In the Aeroverse, where they dive deep into aviation topics. Creating Scrappy with Mike Patey, and my personal favorite, Throttle Jockey, hosted by the amazingly talented Chelsea Smith. Now, if you don't know Chelsea Smith, imagine someone who's basically living every aviation lover's dream. She gets to explore every wild aviation career you've never heard of. Chelsea hosts Throttle Jockey on Aeroverse, and she's not just some host reading off of a teleprompter. She's an actual pilot and an A&P mechanic. Her show takes you behind the stick to meet the people doing the most unexpected flying jobs out there. We're talking crop dusting, helicopter hog hunting, yeah, that's a thing, aerobatic air shows, even piloting the Goodyear blimp. It's part career exploration, part I can't believe that's a job, and entirely awesome. Then you've got the Warbird section. This is where history comes alive. We're talking documentaries about the Tuskegee Airmen, the first African-American military pilots who fought in World War II and had to battle racism, and the Luftwaffe. There's Memphis Belle about America's most famous bomber, the Dam Busters, a raid so daring it sounds made up. And get this, they've got actual gun camera footage from World War II dogfights. Real pilots, real stakes, no CGI.
Magnetos. Magnetos are cold. Controls. Free and correct. Trim. 3 set for the takeoff.
And what if you're into general aviation? Well, here's a section for you. This is the maybe I actually want to learn to fly part. Aeroverse is partnered with AOPA, that's the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, and the EAA, the Experimental Aircraft Association. These are some of the big organizations that help teach people to fly and keep general aviation alive. So you've got shows like Aviation 101, hosted by the inimitable Josh Flowers, where he takes you on real flights and explains everything. You've got Baron Pilot, following a pilot named Christopher Podesnik as he works towards becoming a captain. And this is super practical. You've got AOPA's Air Safety Institute content, real accident case studies, real pilot stories, the stuff that actually keeps you safe in the air. Okay, I know some of you are thinking, this sounds expensive. I'm already paying for Netflix, Spotify, Disney Plus, and I don't know if there's room for another subscription. Fair, but here's the thing. Aeroverse is $7 a month. 7. That's less than a burrito. Or if you're really committed, $70 for the whole year, which breaks down to like $5 and change per month. Oh, and no ads. 0. You're not watching a documentary about the space shuttle, which they have, narrated by William Shatner, by the way, and then getting interrupted by a commercial for car insurance. But here's the part that really gets me excited. They've got live streams from airports around the world. You can literally watch planes take off and land at some of the busiest airports on the planet. It's weirdly meditative. Plus, you can download shows and watch them offline. And they're thinking about the future, too. They've got aerospace content about missions to Jupiter's moons, terraforming other planets, even whether a corporation could own the sun. Yeah, really. There's a whole episode called Sole Ownership, Can a Corporation Own the Sun? Which is both fascinating and slightly terrifying. Now, I'm not saying Aeroverse is going to teach you everything about aviation. It won't replace flight school, It won't make you an aerospace engineer. But you know what it will do? It'll show you that the sky isn't just for other people, that aviation isn't just for the kids whose parents own planes, or the geniuses who build rockets in their garages. It's for anyone curious enough to wonder, what if I could do that? But here's the secret they don't tell you. Every pilot, every engineer, every astronaut started the same way, looking up, wondering, dreaming. Aeroverse launched on the anniversary of the Wright brothers' first flight, two bicycle mechanics who decided that humans should fly. They didn't have engineering degrees from MIT. They didn't have NASA backing them up. They had curiosity, determination, and a dream that probably sounded ridiculous to everyone around them. 120 years later, we're not just flying, we're streaming content about flying, about space stations, vintage warbirds, and everything in between. We're watching pilots land on Catalina Island, learning what went wrong in accident investigations, and seeing Mike Patey build an airplane that defies logic. So if you've ever wondered what it's like to pilot the Goodyear blimp, or wanted to understand what happened inside the Pentagon on 9/11, or just need to know if Jimmy can get that rusty old Cessna to cough back to life, Aeroverse is where you'll find it. All in one place, all ready for you. The sky's not the limit anymore, folks. It's just the entertainment. A special thank you to Carol Cali, whose amazing article on globalair.com about Aeroverse sparked the basis for this segment. Make sure to check out that article and all of her great work on the site. Coming up next, we take a look at drone soccer, an exciting new sport being played around the world. That sound can only mean one thing. We've entered the drone zone. Okay, quick question. What do you get when you combine the strategy of soccer, the teamwork of Quidditch, and the tech skills of building your own gaming rig? If you said drone soccer, congratulations. You're about to sound way cooler than your friends at lunch tomorrow. Let's set the scene. It's 2018 in South Korea. 22 teams are gathered in an arena, but nobody's running. Instead, they're clutching radio controllers, eyes locked on glowing spheres zipping through the air at ridiculous speeds. These aren't your neighbor's Amazon delivery drones. These are specially designed drone soccer balls, wrapped in protective cages and lit up like neon fireflies. And they're playing, well, soccer. Sort of. Here's how it works. 2 teams, 3 to 5 players each. One massive netted arena that looks like someone crossed a gymnasium with a giant hamster habitat. Each player controls their own drone, but here's the twist. Only one player per team, called the striker, can actually score. Everybody else? They're blockers, defenders, and wingmen. It's like aerial chess meets bumper cars meets... Yeah, okay, it's just really, really cool. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds fun and all, but why should I care? Let's talk about Maya, a student we spoke to recently. Maya's a high school junior in Alexandria, Virginia. She's into coding, kind of likes robotics club, but honestly, she says she's not sure what she wants to do after graduation. Then one day, her teacher announces something new. A drone soccer program. 11 weeks. Build your own drone. Learn to fly it. Compete against others. Maya signs up, and here's what happens. Week 1, she's soldering circuit boards and learning what a flight controller actually does. By week 3, she's programming her drone's movements. Week 7, her team is running practice drills, calling out plays like they're Manchester United. And by week 11, Maya's standing in an arena at Virginia Tech, controller in hand, ready to compete in the District 4 championship. But the coolest part? Maya didn't just learn how to fly a drone. She learned the physics of flight. She learned how to troubleshoot when things crash. Because, trust me, things crash. She learned teamwork, strategy, real-time problem solving. And somewhere along the way, she started thinking, wait, I could actually do this. Like, as a career. And that's the secret sauce of drone soccer. It's not just a game. It's a gateway. The aviation industry is absolutely booming right now. We're talking high-demand, high-paying jobs in fields like drone operation, aerospace engineering, aviation maintenance, and software development. But here's the problem. A lot of young people don't see themselves in those careers. The barrier feels too high. The pathway feels unclear. Enter drone soccer. It's designed by educators. It's backed by companies like Boeing. And it's being rolled out in over 300 schools across the United States. Organizations like the U.S. Drone Soccer Association, a legit 501c3, are partnering with schools to create full-on career pipelines. We're talking FAA-aligned training, industry-standard checklists, virtual flight simulators, even pathways to getting your FAA Part 107 remote pilot certificate by age 16. And get this, it's all built around rebuildable drones, meaning when you crash, and you will crash, you don't throw it away, you fix it. You figure out what went wrong. You make it better. It's like leveling up in a video game, except the skills you're building, they're the exact skills companies are hiring for right now. Oh, and did I mention it's bona fide and certified? The sport is officially recognized by the FAI, the Federación Aeronáutica Internacional, which is basically the Olympics Committee for air sports. South Korea is building an entire drone soccer international center and hosted the first ever drone soccer World Cup this year. Europe's in. The U.S. is scaling up fast. There are leagues, championships, online simulator competitions. This thing is happening. But here's my favorite part about drone soccer. It levels the playing field. You don't need to be a tech genius to start. You don't need expensive equipment. Everybody uses the same standardized drones. It fits in a school gym, so you don't need some massive outdoor facility. And because it's a team sport, it's not just about who's the best pilot. It's about communication, strategy, and trusting your squad. One official from U.S. Drone Soccer described it perfectly. They said it's like Quidditch, but with drones. And honestly, that might be the best elevator pitch I've heard yet. So here's your challenge. Find out if your school has a drone soccer program. If they don't, show them this episode. Talk to your teachers, your career counselor. There are organizations like Crew Concept and our friends at Drone Cadets literally waiting to help schools get started. They provide grant support, equipment bundles, teacher training, the whole package. Because here's the thing, the future of flight isn't just about passengers in planes. It's about operators, innovators, engineers, and yes, drone soccer strikers who learn to think 3 moves ahead while their drone was spinning through the air at 30 miles an hour. And that's it for this edition of the Drone Zone. And that's our show for today. From Brandon Martini proving that financial barriers don't have to ground your dreams, to the Aeroverse creating a home for every aviation story worth telling, to students across America discovering aerospace careers through drone soccer, today's episode reminds us that the future of flight isn't just being written by the lucky few. It's being built by dreamers, problem solvers, and people who refuse to accept that impossible is a permanent answer. Brandon didn't wait for someone else to fix the broken system. He built a better one. The Aeroverse didn't complain about scattered content. They gathered it all together. And drone soccer? It's turning curiosity into careers, one controlled crash at a time. If today's stories inspired you, and I hope they did, please take a moment to subscribe to the Future in Flight podcast wherever you're listening. Leave us a review and tell us what you think. Your feedback helps us reach more people who need to hear these stories. Before we go, I want to give a huge shout out to our show supporter ASA, Aviation Supplies and Academics, for helping us reach more future aviators and aviation enthusiasts like you. Whether you're studying for your written exam or just getting started on your aviation journey, head over to their website and see how they can help fuel your dreams. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. Keep looking up, keep dreaming big, and remember, barriers are only permanent if you let them be. We'll see you out there and up there.